What's happening, guys? It's your boy, the Boxing Lowdown, and I'm back here with another video. Now, as always, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like, and I'll happily get back to you. Now, this is my post-fight review to Joshua Buatsi and Craig Richards. Joshua Buatsi winning a 12-round unanimous decision over Craig Spider Richards, man. Great fight, first of all. Let me just say that. Fantastic fight. A bit underwhelming, really, considering that, the crowd, we didn't really get that sort of atmosphere from the crowd. I mean, maybe it was different for the people that were there, but the fact that only 5,000 tickets were sold, maybe more had been sold after that figure was put out there, but it didn't seem like a packed out O2 for me at the very least. And, a fight of this magnitude for me, two very good domestic light heavyweights, a great division, both going at it. It's the sort of fights where a London rivalry as well. Both of these guys from South London. It had all the ingredients for a better crowd than this at least. So it was a bit slightly underwhelming seeing that there wasn't that many people in there. I don't know what's going on with the zone model. Maybe that would be a topic for another video, but I just don't know if it's. Let me just say this: I don't think that it's taken off as much as Eddie Hearn would have liked for it to be. I'm not saying that it doesn't have the potential to. I'm not saying that, that there's no room for growth there. And I'm not saying that it's a failure, but I just think at this stage right now, can you say that Eddie Hearn is really completely satisfied with, the way how things are going with the zone? The fact that Sky Sports is such a huge platform. You see some of the guys from, the Olympians are signing straight to Boxer now on Sky. That platform seems to be growing. Sky is just a monster that you can't really deal with, but maybe, like I said, I'll talk about that in another video. Let's get onto the fight here. Joshua Buatsi and Craig Richards. Very good fight. Went the 12 rounds. Joshua Buatsi winning a unanimous decision. I believe two of the scores were 115, 113, and one of the other scorecards was 116, 112. I have no arguments with those scorecards, really. I thought that was pretty fair. My own scorecard, I had Joshua Buatsi maybe about 3 rounds up. So that seems about fair. But that's not taking away the effort of Craig Spider Richards, man. He was there all the way. It was a competitive fight. Even the rounds that Joshua Buatsi won, he had to work on them. Some of them were pretty hard to score. So one person that I know had it a draw. I don't know many people that thought Spider Richards won, but at worst, some people had it a draw. Others had Buatsi ahead by a couple of rounds, maybe. I didn't agree with Tony Bellew's scorecard. I don't know what his final scorecard was, but he had Buatsi sweeping like the first 6, 7, 8 rounds or something like that. And I don't know where he got that from. But anyway, the fight was very good, very entertaining. Buatsi got hit quite a bit for me. Richards did have his moments, but he just wasn't active enough throughout. Buatsi threw more, landed more, and the punches that he landed, they were a bit more eye-catching for me. When Craig Richards did land, they were clean shots, clean shots that definitely snapped the head back of Buatsi. Some of them stopped him in his tracks at times, but overall, I think that Buatsi, he just did a bit more for me in terms of his activity, his output, and he knew when to time his bursts. He had his bursts, and Craig Richards would cover up. He had him a bit hurt a couple of times, but nothing really where he was in danger of going down or getting knocked out. But there were times where Craig Richards was definitely feeling the pressure and feeling the pain of Buatsi's punches. So I think that the scores were fair. But Spider put in a great effort, man. Put in a great effort, and I think he really conducted himself with class after the fight as well. You heard him give Buatsi credit. Both of these guys come out with their stock risen for me. Is Buatsi ready for the top level yet? I don't think so. Not after this show. He got hit quite a bit for me. That's not taking anything away from Craig Richards, but you just think to yourself, if that was a if that was a Bivol or Beterbiev in there and they're hitting Buatsi that often and that clean, he doesn't see the 12th round. No chance at all. Definitely not with Beterbiev anyway. So there's room for development there, I think. But, Buatsi's 28 years old. There was the COVID break that did hit. It did affect quite a few fighters. So his development probably wasn't, he probably don't feel he's where he needs to be right now. But, he's still undefeated. He still has the world on his shoulders. He is an Olympic bronze medalist. He's a very marketable guy. So, there is a lot of room for growth there for Buatsi, and time is still on his side. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see him maybe fight one or two more fighters at domestic level. The light heavyweight pool is very interesting. There's a lot of good fighters at light heavyweight domestically. You've got the likes of Callum Johnson. You've got the likes of Callum Smith. You've got Anthony Yard there. You've got Dan Aziz in there. There are still a couple of fights for Buatsi to take at light heavyweight domestically before he thinks about going and challenging for the world level. Because once you're at that world level, there's no turning back. So he's still got time for me to get a couple of wins up on his belt on this scene here before moving up, maybe fighting the likes of a Vlasov and then moving on to like the likes of a Bivol or whoever, because this was an eliminator for the WBA belt. So he's definitely right in line to fight for that title, but that's not going to be called anytime soon. So Buatsi still got time to develop, and that would be an easy fight to make, considering that Bivol is also with Matchroom. So let's see what happens, man. As for Craig Richards, there's still room for him to grow. He's 32 years old, so he's not the youngest, but there are still some very good fights out there to make for him. How about Spider against Anthony Yard? I know Anthony Yard's going to be looking for his own title shot soon, but that's a very good fight. That's a 50-50 fight for me. There are other fighters out there as well. Spider probably won't want to go back to fighting for the British title that's held by Aziz, but there is good fights to be made out there and good money to be made for Spider Richards. So he can take some stock from this fight for sure. I just think that when he had Buatsi, there were times where Buatsi had punched himself out after the burst, and I think that Spider could have really put it on him a bit more, but maybe he didn't want to gas himself out either. But all in all, very good fight, man. Entertaining throughout, and the exchanges were very good. These two definitely put it on the line last night, man. They gave it their all, but Buatsi for me was the deserved winner. And ultimately, yeah, very good fight. Like I said, the only thing for me that was just a bit of a downer was the fact that the undercard wasn't great. Although the Babbage fight was entertaining, the undercard wasn't great. And it wasn't a packed out crowd at the O2, man. Maybe this would have been better at the Copper Box or the Wembley Arena or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Where you can feel the crowd a bit more on top of you, because it just seemed a bit spacey. I don't know. It could be just me, but it just seemed a bit airy in there. It just didn't seem to have the same sort of atmosphere that we're used to at the O2. But anyone that's watching this video and that was at the O2, maybe you can vouch for that and, maybe have your opinion on it. But all in all, good fight, man. Can't complain. These are the sort of fights that we like to see at domestic level, and definitely room for growth for the both of them. So let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below, guys. Drop them in the comments. Let me know how you saw this fight. Let me know what you'd like to see next for Buatsi and Craig Richards. And check out my full review on this on the podcast next week with Laurie. We definitely got a lot to talk about there. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.